Rachel, Rachel, please don't run Alberta because we know you'll run it into the ground again. Rachel Notley and the NDP. The NDP kills jobs dead. Now, a lot of you are sick and tired of Jason Kenney, and I can't help but to agree even more with you. But before you do that, do you really want to replace dumb with dumber? I mean, let's get serious here. The NDP won last time because of a protest vote. And a lot of you forgot how bad Rachel Notley and the NDP were, so I'm going to remind you. When Rachel Notley was running Alberta, she decided to cut funding from the people who fight forest fires right before forest fire season, and she was warned multiple times not to do it. And her reply was, "Stop fear-mongering." Someone should really tell Rachel Notley fear can actually be a healthy thing, because thanks to her incompetence and stupidity, the fires of Fort McMurray completely took over that city. People who've been fighting the fires for years told me that year they had hardly anything to fight the fires with. And I'm serious. I mean, these people, these experts who've been fighting the forest fires for years had hardly anything at all to fight those fires with. Brian Jean and the Wild Rose Party decided to do some volunteer work to help the people of Fort McMurray out. Brian Jean actually lost his home to those fires, but he simply replied, it was just things that were destroyed by those fires. Where was Rachel Notley when this was all going down? Well, she decided to go out to a club and have a party to celebrate her 1 year in office as being Premier of Alberta. Okay, I will give her credit for one thing. She did technically order water bombers to put out the forest fires, but by the time they got here, there were no fires for them to put out. But enough about Rachel Notley for now. Let's take a look at some of her other MLAs. There was the pizza shop owner who went bankrupt 3 times, Sarah Hoffman, whose name-calling you would think would come from a 2-year-old child, not from a grown-ass adult. But that's all nothing compared to what this disrespectful girl did. Now, most of Rachel Notley's MLAs, this was actually their first time actually even having a job. She decided to give the Canadian flag the middle finger. People died in wars to preserve the pride and glory of that flag, and she gave it the middle finger. She then decided to refer members of the opposition as gay boys, which is very homophobic for her to do. If a member of the Conservative Party did either one of those things, they would have lost their job like that. But how did Rachel Notley deal with the issue? She just said, well, she apologized. To me, she said she was sorry and she admitted she was wrong. Really, Rachel? Then again, this is coming from the same woman who once said, Alberta's that embarrassing cousin no one wants to talk about. There's literally no class, no intelligence, and no patriotism in the NDP at all. But where did the NDP even come from? Well, you can thank this man right over here. His name was Tommy Douglas. He is the founder of the NDP. Now, most people don't know this, but some members of the NDP, some of their founding members, were open communists. But that's nothing compared to what Tommy Douglas was. He was a eugenicist. He strongly and passionately believed in eugenics. He even wrote a book on it, Problems of a Subnormal Family, where he referred some people as subhuman. Now, for those of you who don't know what eugenics is, it means you take all the stupid and weak people and people with disabilities and you sterilize them or euthanasia them. And you take all the strong and smart people and you force breed them. Do you know who else did that? The Nazis, the fascists. They used to take people with blue eyes and blonde hair, and they would force breed them. And people who didn't fit their idea of being perfect, they were murdered. Now I can go on for hours exposing the dark hearts of Rachel Notley and her followers. But I would like you to do your own research. I always tell people, don't believe everything I say or anything anyone else says. Always double check and do your own homework. And if you are looking for another party to vote for,